Mm. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're watching this. How are you doing? How was your week? Did you do anything fun? I did. Yesterday, I actually did a virtual conference with Triage Cancer. It was really interesting. You It taught more about insurance, breaking that down, explaining that, even estate planning, all of that. But I put their link in the description. They're a really good resource. They do a lot of webinars that kind of break down and explain different things, and they even have lawyers and stuff. So if you need any of that, definitely utilize it. I believe a lot of the services are free, but and it's also for even if you don't have cancer, you can definitely um, utilize it. It's not necessarily geared toward cancer specifically, but and a lot of it, definitely is on a case-by-case basis because everyone's different. So yeah, I did that yesterday. That was really interesting. They did make a couple of references and their two friends. I thought was hilarious, but if you pick up on it. But yeah. So what are you drinking this morning? I am drinking my typical London fog. Uh, but a little different. Of course, it's organic steamed milk. That word organic. We talked about processed organic. Organic steamed milk, whole milk. Organic stevia. I talked about stevia last week on the sugar talk. So sugar sweeteners. So yes, if you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. And I used the Stephen Smith Black Lavender. It has the tea mixture leaves has vanilla in it, so I didn't have to add the vanilla because it is strong enough. You can definitely taste it. So I did the black lavender for the quote unquote London fog, and instead the Earl Grey. So yes, um, but all right. So as we continue on things that we're putting in our body, I know I need to do my nails. It's Halloween. Or for Halloween. Well, October I celebrate Halloween all month long, but I didn't get a chance to do my nails. We have our little pumpkin over here. I found a new Halloween decoration that I kind of forgot about. I got it a couple years ago. Jim Shore it's one of his figurines. It's a Stitch dressed up as the skeleton in the skeleton costume, and the bones actually glow in the dark. He signed it, so it's really cool. And of course, our cauldron and our pumpkins. And the cutest little pumpkin right here in the start of the show. Definitely. Yeah. So, anyways, all right. We're talking about cooking. Cooking oils. What cooking oils do you use? I know I say cooking oils and butter, but I broke it up in two parts. As I was talking to my wonderful husband this morning, we thought of like some other things that definitely need to be discussed and options when we start talking about butter. So we're going to talk about cooking oils today, and then next week we'll bring in butter for part 2. Okay. So let's talk about cooking oils. What do you use as a cooking oil? What do you cook your food in? Do you even use oil, or do you use butter? If you use butter, then just interesting information about oil that you can definitely utilize when you talk to other people, or some interested in you can look up to try different things. So let's start off with vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is a blend of oils from various plants such as corn, soybean, canola, and sunflower. It's heavy on omega-6 fatty acids. It can lead to inflammation, and it can cause chronic disease. it is heavily processed. Oil is extracted using chemicals and high heat, which destroys many of its nutrients, or many of its natural nutrients, excuse me. The canola oil is, or many of its natural nutrients. So remember last week when we talked about processed foods, I think we talked about for the past couple of weeks, but processed foods, you don't want processed foods. You want as minimum processed foods in you as possible, because it has chemicals. You know, when things are done by chemicals, you don't, that doesn't sound not good, right? So vegetable oil is definitely something I would advise you to stay away from, if possible. I mean, again, you have to make your own choice. If we were sitting here having a chit chat as friends, I would tell you to stay away from it. If I was cooking in your house, I would probably throw it out. But no, vegetable oil is not good for you. For those reasons, canola oil is also generally extracted with chemicals, solvents such as hexon, and it's produced through a chemical extraction, refinement, and bleaching process. It has no antioxidants in it. So chemicals and bleaching and something that you're putting in your body. So, you know, think about these things. Like, these things are going in your food that's going into your body, and your body is absorbing it. So canola oil is also one of the things that makes vegetable oil not good for you. So because, again, canola oil is what makes it heavily processed. Because canola oil is heavily processed, so that's what makes vegetable oil heavily processed. And also the high heat in the with the process of the vegetable oil causes it to get rid of its natural nutrients and everything. You'll see that as we start talking about different oils that are actually in the vegetable oil are standalone. They're decent for you depending on your body, your body system. But when you mix them in together, then you add something heavily processed, and then you add the high heat to it that takes all the natural nutrients out of it. It's not good for you. So yes. So again, no vegetable oil, no canola oil as my advisory. That's what I would advise you as, like, if I was your friend chit-chatting with you, okay? As we are now. All right. So let's start talking about oils that you could use if you're not already using. If you're already using it, great. So olive oil and extra virgin olive oil. So we're going to break down the differences in this. Olive oil can be labeled as light, classic, or pure. This normally less expensive. This is regular olive oil. It's normally less expensive and much lighter in color because of how it's processed. It's treated with heat or chemicals to remove any impurities, which is resulting to less flavorful and less pure, despite what the label says, than extra virgin olive oil. So olive oil, even though it says pure, is not necessarily pure per se, or what we would think pure. To me, I would say something pure is like organic, something you can put in your body, like it hasn't been messed with or anything, but no, not regular olive oil, pure olive oil. That's not the case. I would say if you decide to do olive oil, do like a virgin or extra virgin olive oil. Preferably extra virgin over virgin. I don't think virgins that I haven't seen much, but Granted, I use avocado oil versus olive, but so anyways, let's talk about extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil, it is cold pressed. So remember, regular olive oil, they use the heat, and heat gets rid of the nutrients, right? So it is cold pressed olives that retains a strong flavor and beneficial nutrients. So no heat. If you get it in a high quality bottle, you should be able to taste layers of grassy pepper notes. It has to meet certain standards and criteria as outlined by the International Olive Council. Yes, that is a thing, an International Olive Council, right? So it has, for it to be an extra virgin olive oil, it has to meet certain standards with them. There is, I put a link in there talking about the differences between extra virgin olive and olive oil. It's an article, and then there's also a chart there. It's really interesting, and it does talk about the International Olive Council and what criteria it has to meet for them to label the different olive oils as such. So yeah, definitely check that out. Also, too, a lot of I've noticed, I think it's more in major cities. I haven't really seen them much in smaller cities. I know there was definitely one or two in Charlotte. There's definitely one, but it's called All of This in Charlotte. But they literally sell different flavors of olive oil. Like they're in the little tins, and you can actually either you can taste it, or some of them you can bring your own container in. I don't know if All of This is like that. And they give you different recipes and different flavors, and it is really your high quality olive oil, and you can use it cooking different. It adds flavor. You can obviously drizzle it on your salad dressing. There's a lot of different ways you can use olive oil outside of cooking it. But yes, check those out if you have one in your city. An olive, like there are different olive shops. Well, they have olive name on it. I just know the one in Charlotte because that's the one we used to go to when we were in Charlotte. And they actually, I know, and I'm sure a lot of them do this, but if you bring the actual bottle back, like once you've used it, if you take it back, you can get a discount on your next purchase so it's kind of recycling the bottle, and they can reuse the bottles. So yeah, definitely check that out. Just see if you have one in your city, check it out. You can learn, if it's something you're interested in. You can flavor up your food. And it's something too, especially if you're going through chemo and you can't really taste anything. Sometimes if you're having that effect with the chemo that you can't taste anything, then I would definitely go in there and see if you can find one that you can taste, that pulls out those taste buds that, are still there, that you can taste things. I would, definitely check that out. You never know. It's worth a shot. The other thing, avocado oil. Avocado oil is an edible oil extracted from the pulp of avocados. But here's the thing. You want to be aware of potential adulteration with cheaper oils like soy or canola, which is a problem in the industry due to a lack of strict U.S. regulations for avocado oil. So it may be best to avoid the cheapest brands and look for products with clear sourcing and processing information. We'll talk about that in a minute. But basically what they're saying is if you go to the store and like one of the cheaper avocado oils, instead of it being pure avocado oil, they may have added either soy or canola to it to fill up that bottle with a little bit of avocado oil. So you may end up getting processed oil, even though it says avocado oil, because our restrictions here in the States are not that strict with avocados. So kind of like, remember when I was talking about with the honey last week? If you haven't seen it, go back and listen. But talking about the honey, how they add high fructose sugar to the honey in there to make it cheaper. So it's not pure honey. So you're not getting what you think you're getting. So pay attention, okay, to what you're getting. Another good one is sunflower seed oil. If you utilize that, they also use that in some cosmetics as well. So you have sunflower seed oil. If you're cooking with that, that's something is just from pressed sunflower seeds. You have sesame oil. So be careful with sesame oil. It's also just something to be aware of. It is a common allergen. So it's kind of like, I don't think it's as common as peanuts. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But it is a common allergen. So sesame oil. So if you or someone in your family, could be sensitive to different things, I would be very careful using sesame oil, okay? Or just something to be aware of. So maybe just a small tap or something just to make sure nobody's going to have an allergic reaction. All right. So how do you know what to get, right? When you're shopping, there's so many different options. I mean, it can get overwhelming. I know when I'm just going to look specifically for something, like I said, I typically use the avocado oil. But how do you know what to buy? First of all, you want to make sure they're in dark jars. Like, it's a glass bottle, it's dark. Okay? You don't want the lighter ones, because the dark jar will prevent oxidation. It also preserves the nutrients, and it extends the shelf life. Because, again, some of us, depending on how much we cook, like how much you actually use when you cook, sometimes it can go a long way. You can make it go a long way depending on how you're using it. Okay, so you want that shelf life to extend, because you don't want to waste your money, especially nowadays with inflation. You don't want to waste your money. You want to be able, make sure you get your usage out of it, right? Because it's pricey, especially if it's organic. Okay, you want to store them in a dark, cool cabinet or pantry away from heat sources like the stove. And make sure you get organic. I cannot stress that enough. Organic, 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 organic. Okay? So yes, I'll actually, since kind of changed this up a little last minute and I didn't think about it, I will actually put in the show notes, in the description, is same thing. I'll put in the description where we typically get where we purchase our cooking oil. I do avocado. They also do organic extra virgin olive oil as well. But it's called Primal Kitchen. A lot of their stuff, they do not do sugar. If they sweeten, when they have unsweetened ketchup, and then one of the ketchup is like sweetened with honey. So you're literally like all the ingredients in them are either organic or comes from good sourced location. So they're sourcing this really well. So I'll put that in the description, their link to their website. But I also put other things in the description about olive oil, and I think I put one in there even too about the best way to buy it, with the dark jar storing. I believe that article's there as well. So yes, and when I talk about products that we use, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to use them. I'm just, there's other products out there as well. Do what is best for you. I am showing you, I know we did research on these, so I know these are well sourced, and it's kind of what we talk about, what we use. So you don't have to use them, but the information is there if you want to look at it, if you want to use it, if you want to compare it to something else, be my guest, please. Definitely do your research and do what's best for you. But I would, like I said, I would definitely organic if you can. Organic. All right. No processed. I mean, some things you get are going to be processed, but make them as less processed as possible. All right. Okay. Well, until next week, like I said, we'll get into butter and everything next week. And have a wonderful week. Take care of yourself. Do something fun. And we'll see you next week under the willow tree.